I discovered my sister had been stealing from the college scholarship fund our grandmother set up for me. $80,000 gone, and using it to fund her luxury lifestyle while I worked 3 jobs to pay for community college. My name is Jennifer Chen, and this is my story. You're so lucky Grandma set up that fund for you, my sister Ashley would say, sipping her Starbucks in her designer purse, fresh from another shopping trip. Some of us have to work for everything. I'd nod, exhausted from my overnight shift at the hospital, my afternoon shift at the coffee shop, my weekend shifts at the mall. Meanwhile, Ashley lived in a beautiful apartment downtown, drove a new BMW, traveled to Europe twice a year. Marketing pays well, she'd explain when I asked how she afforded it all. She was right about one thing. I was lucky. Grandma Chen had always believed in education. Before she died 5 years ago, she'd set up a trust fund specifically for my college education. $100,000 carefully invested meant to cover 4 years at a good university. You're the first in our family to go to college, Grandma had told me when I was 13, holding my hands across her kitchen table. This money is for your future. No one can touch it but you. Promise me you'll use it to build something beautiful. I'd promised. But when I turned 18 and tried to access the fund, my father, the trustee, told me there were complications. The investments didn't perform as well as expected, Dad said, not meeting my eyes. There's about $20,000 left. It'll cover community college at least. 20,000 out of 100,000. I'd been devastated, but accepted it. Markets crash. Investments fail. These things happen. So I enrolled at community college instead of the state university I'd been accepted to. Worked 3 jobs to cover living expenses. Studied between shifts. Survived on 4 hours of sleep. Watched Ashley post Instagram photos from Paris, Rome, Barcelona. Last week, I was cleaning out Dad's study while he was in the hospital recovering from surgery. Found a file labeled Ashley Education Account. Inside were investment statements, regular withdrawals over 5 years, $80,000 total. Every withdrawal signed off by Dad and sent to an account in Ashley's name. The college fund Grandma had set up for ME had been systematically drained to fund Ashley's lifestyle, and everyone in my family had known, except me. I sat on the floor of my father's study, surrounded by 5 years of financial statements, and felt my entire reality crack open. The documents were clear, methodical, damning. Monthly withdrawals from Jessica Chen Education Trust ranging from $800 to $3,000, starting 6 months after Grandma's death and continuing for 4.5 years. Every single withdrawal transferred to Ashley Chen Living Expenses account. Total, $82,000. $82,000. Money Grandma had saved and invested specifically for my education. Money she'd made me promise to use to build something beautiful. Gone. Stolen by my own sister. Enabled by my own father. I pulled out my phone with shaking hands, started photographing every page, every statement, every withdrawal authorization with Dad's signature. Then I called the bank that managed the trust. Hi, this is Jessica Chen. I'm calling about the Education Trust Fund set up by Linda Chen in 2018. One moment, please. Typing sounds. Yes, I see the account. How can I help you? Can you tell me the current balance? $18,150. Not even $20,000. Less than Dad had told me 3 years ago. And can you tell me about the withdrawal history? I'm sorry, but I can only discuss account details with the trustee. That would be Robert Chen, your father. I'm the beneficiary. It's my education fund. Don't I have a right to know? Once you turn 25, you'll have full access. Until then, the trustee has sole discretion over distributions. 25. I was 21. 4 more years of Dad controlling money that was supposed to be mine. Can you at least tell me what the original amount was? Hesitation. The initial deposit in 2018 was $100,000. And now it's $18,000. Plus accumulated interest, yes. Where did the other $82,000 go? I'm sorry, but you'd need to speak with the trustee about distribution decisions. I thanked her and hung up. Sat there on the floor, looking at the evidence spread around me. My father had systematically stolen from my education fund to give my sister money for what? Rent? Shopping? Vacations? While I worked overnight shifts. While I survived on ramen and 4 hours of sleep. While I deferred my dreams because I didn't have enough money. I'd had money. I'd had $100,000. My grandmother had made sure of that, but my family had stolen it from me. My phone buzzed. Text from Ashley. Lunch this week? My treat. Her treat. With my money. I didn't respond. Kept photographing documents. Found more files. Ashley car loan. $8,000 withdrawal from my fund, notated as education expense. Vehicle for commuting to classes. Ashley hadn't gone to college. She'd gone to a 3-month marketing boot camp and gotten a job immediately after. Ashley Europe trip, $4,500, notated as education expense, study abroad program. There was no study abroad program, just Instagram photos from Paris. Ashley apartment deposit, $6,000, notated as education housing expense. She didn't live in student housing. She lived in a luxury downtown apartment that I'd visited, jealous of her marketing salary. Every withdrawal had been categorized as an education expense. Every single one was a lie, and Dad had signed off on all of them. I heard the front door open, Mom's voice calling out, "Jessica, are you still here?" I quickly gathered the documents, shoved them in my bag, stood up just as Mom appeared in the doorway. "What are you doing in Dad's study?" "Just looking for his insurance paperwork." "For the hospital?" She looked at me strangely. "That's in the kitchen file. I told you that." "Right. Sorry. I forgot." I pushed past her, headed for the door. "Jessica, wait. Are you okay? You look upset." I stopped, turned around, looked at my mother, the woman who'd raised me, who'd told me to work hard and be patient, and accept what life gave me. "Did you know?" I asked. "Know what?" "About the scholarship fund. About Ashley." Her face changed, closed off. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do." We stared at each other. "Your father made those decisions," she finally said. "He was the trustee. But you knew. You knew he was giving my education money to Ashley, and you said nothing." "It's complicated." "It's theft." "It's not complicated. It's theft." "Don't be dramatic. Ashley needed help. You're doing fine with community college." "I'm working 3 jobs." My voice rose, surprising both of us. "I sleep 4 hours a night. I live in a studio apartment with 2 roommates. I eat ramen because I can't afford real food, while Ashley drives a BMW and goes to Europe and lives in luxury using my money. The money Grandma left for me. Your grandmother loved both of you. She set up that fund for me. Not Ashley. Me. And you let Dad steal it." Mom's jaw tightened. "You need to calm down. Your father is in the hospital. This is not the time." "When is the time?" "When there's nothing left. When I'm $50,000 in debt because I had to take out loans for the education I was supposed to have funding for." "Life isn't fair, Jessica. You need to learn." "I've learned plenty. I've learned my family values Ashley more than me. I've learned my father is a thief, and my mother enables him. I've learned that working hard means nothing if the people who are supposed to protect you are actively sabotaging you." I walked out, Drove to the hospital where Dad was recovering, found him awake, watching TV. "Hey, sweetheart," he said when I walked in. "Thanks for cleaning out the study." I dropped the folder of documents on his hospital bed. "Explain this." Dad's face went pale as he looked at the papers. His hand, the one with the IV, started shaking. "Where did you get these?" "Your filing cabinet. The one labeled Ashley, Education Account." "Want to explain why my education fund has an Ashley label on it?" He closed his eyes. "Jessica, this isn't what it looks like. It looks like you stole $82,000 from my college fund and gave it to Ashley. What am I missing?" "I didn't steal anything. I was the trustee. I had discretion over distributions. Distributions for my education, not Ashley's lifestyle. Ashley needed help. I needed help. I needed college. That's what the money was for." A nurse appeared in the doorway. "Is everything okay?" "Mr. Chen, your heart rate is elevated." "Everything's fine," Dad said quickly. "Just a family discussion." The nurse looked skeptical, but left. Dad took a breath. "Sit down. Let me explain." "I'm not sitting down." "Explain from there." He looked at the papers. At me, back at the papers. "After your grandmother died, Ashley was struggling. She'd just lost her job, couldn't make rent, was about to be evicted. Your mother and I didn't have savings to help her. The only accessible money was your education fund. So you stole from me to help her. I borrowed from the fund temporarily. I plan to pay it back. For 4.5 years? You borrowed money for 4.5 years for Ashley's apartment and car and European vacations? It wasn't supposed to be that long. But Ashley kept having emergencies. Designer purses are not emergencies. You don't understand the pressure she was under." "I don't understand?" My voice rose again. "I work 3 jobs, Dad. I sleep on a couch because I can't afford my own room. I haven't had a vacation in 3 years. I eat 1 meal a day sometimes to save money, while Ashley posts Instagram photos from Paris using my education money. And you're telling me about her pressure? You're stronger than Ashley. You always have been. You can handle adversity. Ashley needs more support. I need support too. I needed the money Grandma left me. But you decided Ashley's comfort was more important than my education." Dad's monitor started beeping faster. He pressed a button to call the nurse. "Don't leave," he said. "Please, let's talk about this rationally." "There's nothing rational about this. You stole from me. For years. While I trusted you. I'm your father. Fathers protect their children. They don't rob them." The nurse came back in, looking concerned. "Mr. Chen needs rest. You'll have to continue this later." I looked at my father. This man I'd trusted completely, who'd systematically stolen my future to fund my sister's present. "There's nothing to continue," I said. "You made your choice. Now I'm making mine." I left. In the parking lot, I called a lawyer. The lawyer's name was Patricia Morrison, and she specialized in trust disputes and elder financial abuse. "This isn't technically elder abuse since your father is the trustee," she said after reviewing the documents I'd photographed. "But it is absolutely breach of fiduciary duty and potentially fraud." "Can we sue him?" "Yes. Trustees have a legal obligation to manage trust funds solely in the beneficiary's interest. Using your education fund to support your sister's lifestyle is a clear breach. We can file suit to recover the misappropriated funds, remove your father as trustee, and potentially seek punitive damages." "How long will it take?" "Depends on whether he fights. If he acknowledges wrongdoing and agrees to repay, we could settle in a few months. If he contests it, could be a year or more." "What about Ashley?" She received the money. Can we sue her too? Potentially, yes. If she knew the money was from your education fund and accepted it anyway, she could be liable for unjust enrichment. Did she know where the money was coming from? I thought about all those times Ashley had said, "You're so lucky Grandma set up that fund for you," while literally living off that fund. Yes, she knew. Then we include her in the suit. Both of them are liable. What do I need to do? First, we file suit in probate court. Your grandmother's will should have specified the trust terms. I'll need a copy of that. We'll also need the complete trust documents, all financial statements, and any communications between your father and Ashley about the money. I have 5 years of statements, and I can probably get the will from the probate office. Good. We'll also depose your father and Ashley. Force them to explain under oath how education fund money ended up paying for BMWs and trips to Europe. When can we file? I can have the petition drafted by Monday. We'll serve them both by end of week. My father's in the hospital right now. Heart surgery recovery. Patricia looked at me. Do you want to wait? I thought about that. About giving Dad time to recover. About being the understanding daughter who puts family first. Then I thought about working overnight shifts while Ashley slept in her luxury apartment. About eating ramen while she posted food photos from Italian restaurants. About deferring my dreams while she lived mine. No, I said, don't wait. The lawsuit was filed Monday morning. Dad and Ashley were both served Tuesday afternoon. Ashley called me immediately, her voice high and panicked. Jessica, what the fuck? You're suing me? You stole $82,000 from my education fund. I didn't steal anything. Dad gave me that money. Dad stole it from my education fund and gave it to you. That makes you both thieves. That's insane. It was his money to distribute. It was my money. Grandma left it for my education. Not your apartment, not your car, not your trips to Europe. My education. You're really going to sue your own family over this? You really stole from me for 5 years. So yeah, I'm going to sue. Mom is devastated. Mom knew. She's known the whole time. You can't prove that. I don't need to. I just need to prove that you and Dad took my money. Which I can, with 5 years of bank statements. Ashley was quiet. Then, if you drop this, I'll pay you back. Slowly. Over time. How much do you have right now? What? Cash? Savings. How much do you have right now to pay me back? Silence. You spent it all, didn't you? The BMW, the apartment, the trips? You spent every penny. I have some savings. How much? Maybe $8,000. 8,000. Out of 82,000. See you in court, I said, and hung up. Dad called an hour later. His voice was weak, tired. Jessica, please, can we talk about this? Through our lawyers. I'm your father. We should be able to resolve this as a family. You stopped being my father when you stole my future. Families don't do that to each other. I made a mistake. You made 100 mistakes over 5 years. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. Let me make this right. The only way to make this right is to give me back every penny you stole. Can you do that? Silence. I didn't think so. Jessica, I'm in the hospital. I just had heart surgery. Your mother is falling apart. Ashley is terrified. You're tearing this family apart. I'm not tearing anything apart. You did that when you chose Ashley over me, over and over, for 5 years. I hung up. Felt nothing. No guilt. No regret. Just cold clarity. They'd stolen from me. Now they'd pay. The discovery phase was brutal for them. Patricia subpoenaed all trust records, all of Ashley's financial records, all communications between Dad and Ashley about money. We found email chains. Ashley: "Can you send another $3K? Rent is due, and I'm short." Dad: "I'll take it from Jessica's education fund. She won't know." Ashley: "Are you sure that's okay?" Dad: "It's fine. I'm the trustee. I decide how it's distributed." Text messages. Ashley: "Thank you so much for the car loan. You're the best dad ever." Dad: "Anything for my girl. Jessica's fund can spare it. She's doing fine at community college anyway." Bank records showing Dad transferred money from my education trust to Ashley's account. Then Ashley immediately spent it on non-essential purchases: designer clothes, restaurant bills, plane tickets. All while I worked 3 jobs. We deposed Dad first. He looked smaller somehow, older, sitting across the conference table in his suit. Patricia was merciless. "Mr. Chen, the trust document specifies that funds should be used solely for Jessica's educational expenses. Correct?" "Yes." "Yet you transferred $82,000 from that trust to your other daughter, Ashley. Correct?" "Yes, but..." "Was Ashley enrolled in an educational program that required $82,000 in funding?" "No, but she needed support." "Support for what? BMW payments? European vacations? Designer clothing?" She was struggling financially. So was Jessica. In fact, Jessica was struggling precisely because you stole the money her grandmother had left her. Correct? "I didn't steal." "You took money designated for one child's education and gave it to another child for living expenses. What would you call that?" Dad couldn't answer. Ashley's deposition was even worse for her. "Ms. Chen, did you know the money your father was giving you came from your sister's education fund?" Ashley hesitated. I didn't really think about where it came from." "But you knew your sister had an education fund from your grandmother." "Yes." "And you knew you didn't have one." "Yes." "Yet you accepted regular payments from your father totaling $82,000 over 5 years. You never questioned where that money came from?" "He said it was from his savings." Patricia pulled out an email. In this message, dated March 2021, you wrote, "Are you sure it's okay to use Jessica's education money for my rent? Does that refresh your memory?" Ashley's face went red. That was taken out of context." "What context makes it acceptable to knowingly take your sister's education funding for your personal rent?" Ashley couldn't answer. The trial lasted 3 days. The evidence was overwhelming. Dad's lawyers tried to argue he'd acted within his discretion as trustee. Patricia destroyed that argument by showing that trustee discretion has legal limits, and funding one child's luxury lifestyle while the intended beneficiary suffers is beyond those limits. Ashley's lawyers tried to argue she'd received the money in good faith. Patricia showed the emails and texts proving Ashley knew exactly where the money came from. The judge was not sympathetic. "Mr. Chen," she said during closing, "you were entrusted with managing funds specifically designated for your daughter Jessica's education. Instead, you systematically looted those funds to support your other daughter's lifestyle. This is not a gray area. This is not a matter of interpretation. This is theft, dressed up in legal paperwork." She turned to Ashley. "And Ms. Chen, you knew where this money was coming from. You asked your father directly about using your sister's education funds. Yet you continued to accept that money while your sister worked multiple jobs and struggled to pay for community college. That is unconscionable. Final judgment. Dad ordered to repay the full $82,000 plus interest, $91,000 total. Ashley jointly liable for the amount she received, $82,000. Dad removed as trustee, independent trustee appointed. Dad ordered to pay my legal fees. $47,000. Both Dad and Ashley ordered to pay punitive damages, $25,000 each. Total, $188,000 owed to me. The courtroom was silent when the judge read the verdict. Dad looked destroyed. Ashley was crying. Mom, sitting behind them, looked like she'd aged 10 years. I felt nothing. Just relief that it was over. The aftermath was messy. Dad and Ashley couldn't pay the full amount immediately. The judge ordered a payment plan, $3,000 per month until the debt was satisfied. At that rate, it would take them 5+ years to repay me. But it was something. And every month, when that $3,000 hit my account, it felt like justice. I used the first payments to pay off the student loans I'd taken out for community college. The next payments went into a real education fund, one only I controlled. 6 months after the judgment, I transferred to the state university I'd originally been accepted to. Started pursuing the degree I'd deferred for 3 years. Dad and I haven't spoken since the trial. He sends the monthly payments through his lawyer. Otherwise, silence. Ashley reached out once, about a year after the judgment. A long email about how sorry she was, how she'd been selfish and immature, how she wished she could go back and make different choices. I read it, deleted it, didn't respond, because apologies don't give me back 3 years of my life. Don't erase the exhaustion, the ramen dinners, the crushing weight of working 3 jobs while watching my sister live the life I should have had. Some things you can't apologize your way out of. Mom calls occasionally. I answer sometimes. Our conversations are brief and surface level. She never apologizes, never admits she knew what was happening. Just talks about weather and tries to pretend we're a normal family, having a normal distance. We're not. It's been 2 years since the trial. I'm about to graduate with my bachelor's degree in computer science. I got a job offer from a tech company in Seattle, $85,000 starting salary, full benefits, relocation package. I accepted immediately. Last week, I got a letter from Grandma's estate lawyer. Apparently, Grandma had written a separate letter to be delivered to me upon my college graduation. The lawyer had been holding it, waiting. The letter was dated the week before Grandma died. My dearest Jessica, if you're reading this, you've graduated from college. I'm so proud of you. I always knew you would do great things. I set up the education fund to give you freedom. Freedom to pursue your dreams without the burden of debt. Freedom to choose your path without financial constraints. Freedom to become whoever you want to be. Money is a tool, not a destination. Use it wisely. Use it to build something beautiful, something meaningful, something that matters to you. But remember, the money isn't what makes you special. Your determination, your intelligence, your kindness, those are your real assets. The fund is just removing obstacles so those qualities can flourish. I love you. I believe in you. I always have. Build something beautiful. All my love, Grandma, I cried, reading it. First time I'd cried since finding those documents in Dad's study. Because Grandma had been right. She'd tried to remove obstacles, to give me freedom. And my own family had stolen that gift and made my journey exponentially harder. But I'd made it anyway. Not because of them, in spite of them. I'm graduating next month. Dad and Ashley won't be there. I didn't invite them. Mom asked if she could come. I said no. But I'm inviting the people who actually supported me. My roommates who covered rent when I was short. My managers at all 3 jobs who worked around my class schedule. My professors who believed in me. My friends who never let me give up. The family I chose, not the one I was born into. After graduation, I'm taking my first real vacation. 2 weeks in Japan, something I've wanted to do since high school. It's not Europe. It's not designer bags or BMWs or luxury apartments, but it's mine. Earned, deserved. Built from my own work, my own determination, my own refusal to let them break me. And that makes it beautiful. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment about where you're watching from. And if you've ever had family steal from you while telling you it was for your own good, you're not alone. Subscribe for more stories, because sometimes the people who are supposed to protect you are the ones you need protection from. And sometimes the best revenge is succeeding despite them and building the life they tried to take away.